In a peaceful little village tucked away among the lush hills of Africa, there's a truly touching story about an unlikely friendship between a man and a lion. Robert, a devoted conservationist, had spent his whole life protecting the local wildlife, especially the majestic lions that roamed the nearby sanctuary. He understood these incredible creatures deeply, respecting their place in the fragile balance of nature. One day, while Robert was patrolling the sanctuary in his old Jeep, something felt off. The usual sounds of the wild had fallen strangely, silent. Curious and concerned, he decided to get out and check on foot. As he carefully scanned the bushes, he came across a heartbreaking sight: a large male lion, lying still on the ground, his golden mane shining even in his weakness. But what caught Robert's attention most was the ugly, deep wound on the lion's side. Robert's heart sank. He recognized this lion immediately. It was Scarface, an iconic figure known far and wide, not just for his size and strength, but for his fierce spirit. Scarface was the leader of one of the biggest prides in the area, a symbol of the wild that people both feared and admired. Without hesitation, Robert sprang into action. He knew Scarface wouldn't survive long without help. He called in his fellow rangers, who arrived quickly, and together they carefully lifted the wounded lion onto a stretcher. Moving such a massive animal wasn't easy, but their shared determination pushed them forward. They drove him back to their ranger station, bumping along the rough dirt roads. At the station, under the dim glow of a generator, Robert got to work. Drawing on his knowledge of wildlife first aid, he cleaned the wound, stopped the bleeding, and treated it to prevent infection. He stayed up all night, watching over Scarface, his worry clear, but his resolve stronger. He prayed silently for the lion to pull through, willing every ounce of his strength into this fragile creature. The following days were tough. Scarface was weak and in pain, his mighty frame reduced to something fragile and vulnerable. But Robert never gave up. He gently fed the lion small pieces of fresh meat, carefully offered water drop by drop, and spoke softly to him, a calm voice in the sterile little infirmary. Slowly, something extraordinary began to happen. Scarface started to trust Robert. The once fierce king of the pride would softly rumble or nuzzle Robert's hand, his golden eyes showing a spark of trust and gratitude. Word of this unusual friendship spread quickly through the village and nearby communities. People who had long held lions at a distance, half in fear, half in awe, came to see for themselves the bond between man and beast. Weeks passed, and Scarface's health improved by leaps and bounds. The wound healed, his muscles grew strong again, and his eyes sparkled with life. His roar, once faint and weak, grew louder, filling the air with the sound of a true king reclaiming his strength. Robert knew the day would come soon when he'd have to let Scarface go back to the wild. That moment was bittersweet. Robert was filled with pride and joy that Scarface had survived, but also sadness at the thought of saying goodbye to his remarkable friend. One bright morning, with the sun painting the sky in warm orange and gold, Robert and the rangers loaded Scarface into a sturdy cage and drove him back to where they found him. With a deep breath, Robert opened the cage door. Scarface stepped out slowly, taking in the familiar sights and sounds of home. He paused, looked straight at Robert, and in that silent exchange, a world of gratitude passed between them. Then, with a soft rumble that felt like a thank you, Scarface disappeared into the thick green brush, back to the wild where he belonged. Robert went back to his work protecting the sanctuary, but he never forgot Scarface. He often found himself returning to that spot, hoping for just a glimpse of his lion friend. And one afternoon, months later, while on patrol, the stillness of the bush was broken by a powerful roar. Scarface appeared from the shadows, strong and proud, his golden mane full and shining. Beside him walked a beautiful lioness. It was a reminder of the wild's resilience and of the incredible bond between a man who cared and a lion who survived. That unforgettable day at the funeral left a mark on everyone who was there. For the villagers, the rangers, and even the distant wildlife, it was proof that sometimes the bonds we form can go far beyond what we imagine possible. It was a reminder that compassion isn't limited by language, species, or circumstance. From then on, Robert's story lived on, not just as a tale of a man and a lion, but as a symbol of hope, kindness, and the incredible power of empathy. Children in the village would grow up hearing about Scarface and the man who saved him, learning that even the wildest hearts can be touched by love. And Scarface? He remained a legend in those hills, often spotted patrolling his territory with the lioness and their now-grown cubs. His presence was a living tribute to Robert's unwavering dedication. Whenever villagers caught sight of the majestic lion family, they would smile, feeling a quiet connection to the man who had once saved a king of the savannah. Robert's legacy wasn't just in the animals he protected or the sanctuary he helped preserve. It was in the way he showed the world that kindness has no limits, that sometimes, in the most unexpected places, a true friendship can bloom, a friendship that changes lives and echoes through generations. So, as you watch this story, remember that compassion is a force strong enough to bridge worlds. And maybe, just maybe, there's a little Scarface inside all of us, waiting to be set free by a simple act of kindness. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to share it with others and subscribe for more incredible stories from the wild. Because in every corner of this world, there are friendships waiting to be discovered and miracles ready to unfold.